They told him he had 3 hours left. 3 hours before the lights would go out. 3 hours before his name would become a file number. 3 hours before the world would forget he ever existed. But his final request wasn't for food. It wasn't for a phone call. It wasn't even for prayer. It was for a dog. The prison corridor felt colder than usual that morning. Not because the temperature had changed, but because everyone inside knew what was coming. Keys echoed louder. Boots sounded heavier. Even the walls felt like they were holding their breath. Inside cell 417, Marcus Hale sat quietly on the edge of his cot, hands resting on his knees, eyes fixed on the floor. 7 years on death row had changed him. The anger that once burned behind his eyes was gone. All that remained was exhaustion and regret. When the warden finally stopped outside his cell, the guards expected the usual: a final meal request, a call to family, a last letter. Instead, Marcus looked up and said calmly, "I want to see Ranger." The warden paused. "Your dog?" he asked. Marcus nodded. "He's the only one who never left me." The room went silent. A man facing execution, asking for a dog. Not forgiveness, not closure, not people. Some guards shook their heads. Others looked away. But one older officer spoke quietly. "That dog's been in county care since the arrest. He never got adopted." The warden leaned back, fingers steepled. Bringing an animal into a maximum security prison on execution day had never been done. But Marcus's record was spotless. No fights, no infractions, no trouble, just a man counting down his last hours. After a long silence, the warden said, 10 minutes, yard only, full supervision." Marcus closed his eyes. 10 minutes felt like a lifetime. The prison yard stood unnaturally still. Marcus stood beside a single metal chair, wrists loosely cuffed. His heart pounded louder than the siren tower above. Then the gate creaked open, and there he was, Ranger. Older now, a little slower, gray dusting his muzzle, but still unmistakably his dog. The leash tightened as Ranger froze, then his ears shot forward. He knew. That tail began to wag, slow, then faster. Marcus dropped to his knees. The leash slackened, and Ranger ran. He slammed into Marcus's chest, whining, not barking, not crying, a sound caught somewhere between relief and grief. For a moment, the prison disappeared. No countdown, no sentence, just a man and his dog breathing the same air again. Marcus buried his face in Ranger's fur. "You found me," he whispered. "You never forgot." Then something changed. Ranger stiffened. His tail stopped mid-wag. His ears turned sharply. A low growl rolled through his chest. Marcus felt it before he heard it. Ranger wasn't looking at him anymore. He was staring at a guard standing near the fence. Officer Caldwell, tall, quiet, watching too closely. "Control your dog," someone muttered. Marcus placed a hand on Ranger's back. "Easy, boy." But Ranger didn't relax. He growled again, deeper this time. Officer Diaz, a guard who'd always treated Marcus fairly, frowned. "That dog doesn't act like that," Diaz said quietly. Marcus swallowed. "Ranger only growls when something's wrong." Caldwell looked away. Later that morning, Marcus was escorted to a small interview room. Ranger was allowed to stay. He sat at Marcus's feet, eyes never leaving the door. Caldwell stood across from them, too stiff, too tense. The warden spoke carefully. "Officer Caldwell, records show you were near Marcus Hale's home the night of the arrest." Caldwell shrugged. "Off duty, passing through." Ranger barked, sharp, sudden. The room froze. Diaz stepped forward. "Funny thing," he said. A neighbor just came forward, said they saw a uniformed officer leaving the house before police arrived. Caldwell's jaw tightened. Ranger growled again, louder now. The warden stood. The execution is suspended. Marcus felt air rush back into his lungs. Not freedom, but hope. The investigation moved fast. Evidence retested. Fingerprints re-examined. They didn't belong to Marcus. They belonged to Caldwell. He'd planted evidence, covered his tracks. Within weeks, Caldwell was arrested, charged with the same crime Marcus had been sentenced for. And one morning, the gates opened. Not for an execution, but for release. Marcus stepped outside. No cuffs, no guards, just open sky. And there, waiting beyond the fence, was Ranger. Tail wagging, eyes bright. Marcus dropped to his knees. "We made it," he whispered. "You never stopped believing." This story reminds us of something simple. Truth doesn't always come from witnesses. Sometimes it comes from loyalty, from instinct, from a dog who remembers. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe. Because sometimes, love is the strongest evidence of all.